Tim Walz is back in the news, and I've got to get your take on this, Dan. Tim Walz, doing a little postscript on the failed campaign and talking about how he was brought in because he was the guy who could code switch and talk to dudes who like football. Let's take a listen and we'll get your thoughts.
I'm a team player. I'm with it. And there's folks that I recognize are smarter than me. They analyze this. You put your input in. Running a campaign that had never been run before, 100 days, in the situation we were at, running against a very unusual opponent on the other side. Mm-hmm. And look, my job was to do it. Look, I knew I was on the ticket. I would argue because we did a lot of amazing progressive things in Minnesota that improved people's lives. But I also was on the ticket, quite honestly, because I could code talk to white guys watching football, fixing their truck, doing that I could put them at ease. I was the permission structure to say, look, you can do this and vote for this. And you look across those swing states, with the exception of Minnesota, we didn't get enough of those votes.
All right, Dan. So he was the guy. I don't doubt for a second that's what his assignment was. Seems like he failed it pretty spectacularly, though.
Yeah, I don't doubt that somebody made the ridiculous decision to think that guy appeals to, like, you, me, like adult males with the great American penis. I don't doubt that somebody was stupid enough to think that. But once you watch his effeminate walk, once you watch his effeminate ways and the whole fraudulent thing about I run the pick six and everything else, you knew this was bull, complete and total bull. I think Levitt said on the podium yesterday, the best thing that Kamala Harris can do is keep talking, keep doing speaking engagements. And I'd say the same thing about Tim Walz. I mean, my God, you're right. There's no doubt that's why he was on the ticket. And there's no doubt the person running the ticket was a dumbass, whether it's Kamala Harris, Joe Biden, or whoever the hell is in between. All stupid. We dodged a major bullet. And I hope he runs again because it will be an absolute landslide.
Well said, as always, sir. He is the host of the Great American Penis. He's the host of Don't At Me on OutKick. You may have just given me a rebranding for my show here, Dan. Fucking
That's
genius is what it is. All right, he's off now to enjoy some outdoor sex and all the good things that real heterosexual football-loving American men appreciate.
Hey, Ricky.
By God.
Ricky, can I give you a saying?
Yeah, by God, please.
Hip, hip, hooray, 1st of May. Outside starts today. See you, brother.
He is the great Dan Dakich. Never a disappointment to have him on the program, and never a disappointment to welcome in the international streaming star who joins me from Nashville, Tennessee, is, of course, Ronnie T-Shirts. Ronnie, Tim Walz. First of all, Dakich is just throwing 100-mile-an-hour fastballs lately every time he comes on.
I try to be respectful of this and whatever, but Great American Penis.
We're not at church, Ron. You don't have to be respectful. We're two guys who are doing a show.
I know, but I didn't want to interrupt. But all of a sudden, I'm sitting here watching and just trying to think of, where's this going? What do I think Ricky's going to want to talk to me about? And the next thing I hear is Great American Penis. I'm like, whoa.
Listen, I have never heard that phrase before in my entire life. Dan may have invented it right now on the program. But look, let's talk about Tim Walz, who wishes that he had a great American penis while he's waving at everybody with both hands at the same time. This idea that, and listen, he said the quiet part out loud. We all know he was put on the ticket because the Democrats thought that he could be some sort of relatable archetype of masculinity. The Minnesota guy who loves to hunt and was an assistant football coach, but also loves women and loves the stupid things that the party was pushing, and that somehow guys like you and me and Dakich might be persuaded by that. I have no doubt that was the strategy, but he wasn't up to it because he thought that he could code switch, and he couldn't because guys can smell phony
gosh.
When it comes to sports, you know when somebody is trying to bullshit you and pretend that they understand sports. It would be like me walking into, some fucking leftist white Democratic female, meeting and trying to act like I could relate to their pet issues. There's no way I would be able to pull it off believably, and he just wasn't believable.
Yeah, man. I can't tell you how many times I've been in situations where you're having a sports conversation and then somebody tries to interject their thoughts to it, and everybody just kind of looks and is like, "Whoa, what did you just say?" Like, you clearly
AOC
know nothing about
pick
sports.
Six like nobody else.
By the way, it's okay. Like, it's okay. Like, you don't have to know everything about sports. Like, it's just,
but just don't come out and present yourself to America that you're not the person that you are.
Right, but
that's the thing. Vince Lombardi in his entire fucking life never waved at people like this. Okay? I assure you, that never happened once. Not one fucking time.
But what an absolute terrible strategy, Ricky, because think about this. Like, this is who they identified to be that guy. Well, they already had all the votes of all the beta men, right? Like, they did not have to worry about it. Beta men were absolutely voting for Harris, right? So their strategy was to try to get me, Dockich, you, right? Those people to go, oh, you know what? Maybe
they just needed to peel off a portion.
Right.
If they could have peeled off 10% of guys like us,
right?
It might have flipped the election.
But to do that, so I always talk about this is like the people that I'm friends with, like really good friends with. I'm friendly with a lot of people, right? But who are my friends? They're just dudes, right? They're just dudes. And I don't even need to give the definition of what is a dude. Dudes know what dudes are, right? You're just a dude. And that's what would appeal to me. Tim Walz is the antithesis of a dude. He's not even close to a dude. So
dudes like Dan Dockich? Are they dudes like Dan Dockich?
That's what I bet. Oh, dear. Oh,
look at you made a quote card.
Hang on. Look at this. Hip, hip, hooray. It's the 1st of May. Outdoor sex begins today. Was that the direct quote, Tim?
Yes.
I think Tim just captured the spirit.
No. He said that on the way out. I don't think you heard him. That was his goodbye quote.
Yeah, he said.
I did not hear the. Wow.
Oh, yeah,
well, there you go.
He said it and then dropped the mic, Ricky. Yeah, he said it and then he dropped the mic.
He had 2 mic drops today. He had to pick up the mic from Great American Penis in order to drop it again. But, but listen, Ronnie, I think Tim Walz is the kind of guy that carries certs, is what I'm saying.
But wait, in his purse.
When I was a kid,
it's in his purse.
Yeah, it is man purse. I believe every purse made between 1970 and 1985 came with a roll of certs, because I don't know any adult woman from that era who couldn't produce one within 10 seconds on demand.
And there was
any woman in America. I'm just telling you, every
ones that were open,
aunt, grandma, mom,
but Ricky,
stepmom,
the ones that had already been opened, they all had that kind of purslint around it, and like they hand it to you, you're like, no, purslint, I don't want purslint on my shirt.
Purslint,
Ricky, true story.
You don't want the first one. That's why the first one, you got to go to the second cert down, because the first one's full of Kleenex tissues and various other products.
True story. I searched Super 70 Sports tampon. I'm not making this up, and this is what popped up.
Are you serious?
Trying to find something for Tampon Tim.
You found it while searching Tampon Tim. Well,
I'm serious.
There you go. I guess there's truth in that.
AI definitely connected the dots for you there.
Oh, maybe because they look like tampons? Same shape?
Or maybe, you're carrying... Listen, every woman I knew who was carrying certs was either postmenopausal or she had some giant Kotex pads in there. There weren't any tampons being used. Had a pad on there that looked like that fucking neck roll that Steve Grogan used to wear.
Oh my God. This show just took a left turn.
Putting that right there in her panties,
Oh
God. You have a heavy flow, you're going to need the Grogan, is all I'm saying. A tampon wasn't going to get it done for any woman that I knew in South Central Kentucky, in 1983. Believe me,
Good
they
Lord.
were all
Oh my
Kotex
gosh.
loyalists.
That's the next
In those
AI-generated
days.
image.
Hey, OutKick fans on YouTube, if you enjoyed this episode, hit the subscribe button and make your way over to OutKick.com where you can watch the full episode.